Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Today we will be covering profile, permission set and role. Let me open the content sheet where we are currently. We are done till application. Today we'll start with profile, permission, set and role. Let's start with profile before we see the practical aspect of profile. Let's discuss what is the role, what is the usage of profile for each and every user that we create in Salesforce. There is a mandatory field on the user page that is profile. Profile. Let me show you the user page. Say if I need to create a user for you in my Salesforce environment. I need to create access for you in my Salesforce environment. I'll be creating your user site. For each and every user, the profile is a mandatory field. Let me click on users. New user. If you can see here, the profile is mandatory field. What is the significance of profile? Profile governs what this user can do, what all features he can use, what all objects he can create, what all objects data he can edit, what all fields he can see, what all things he can do. Everything is gone by. Basically, it's like permission for that user. Permission for that user. What all things a user can perform, what all rights a user has in this particular Salesforce environment is governed by profile. Let me very quickly open a profile. We'll discuss some of the critical parts of profile. I have clicked on profile. Let me open custom marketing profile. The profile with same name should be there in your environment as well. Now, one by one, we will be discussing some very important parts of profile. First, very important. Let me click on edit. One by one, we'll see. First is custom app settings. Yesterday, we created an application, but we can go on. We can control the visibility of application using profile. There might be a scenario. I need to show application to a particular user and I need to hide that from a particular user. How would I do that? The user to whom I need to show that application. I'll go in his profile and in his profile, I'll check this visible checkbox. Yesterday, we created an application that was case management system. If there is an application that I don't want to show or I want to hide from a particular user, I'll uncheck this checkbox from his profile. That's the first very important feature of profile. We can control the visibility of application. Secondly, whatever is listed here, these are all the applications. These are all the application custom app settings. This is the first and foremost very important setting of profile. Then let me slow down. Then we have something called tab settings. Yesterday we created a tab. If there is a scenario that the tab we created, I need to hide that from a particular user. What I need to show that to a particular user, then what I'll do? I'll go to his profile and I'll make sure that, let me scroll down. And yesterday the tab that we created is patient detail. I'll make sure that this tab is default on. It is not hidden. This tab is default on. Default on means it is visible. Hidden means it will not be visible to the user. We are controlling that with the help of profile. If in the profile it is hidden, the user with that profile will not be able to see that tab. This is the second very important setting of profile. First is app visibility. Second is tab visibility. Any issues till now? We created that tab yesterday. The tab is not a part of the app. Tab is part of app, but there might be a possibility that a user is able to see the application. But when he is opening the application, he is not able to see the tab because tab has its own existence. Let's make somebody see the app. But I can, let's say, if there are like 10 tabs in the app, I can hide some of the tabs and I can then we have some very important features in profile. The third one is, let me scroll down, that is standard object permission. Far we have covered tab visibility, custom application visibility. Now we are discussing the object visibility. Yesterday we created one object that was patient detail. Let me scroll down in front of patient detail. You are seeing 6 permissions: read, create, edit, delete, view all and modify all. What are these? Read means user with this profile can see the data of a particular object. Create means he can create the data for this object as well. Edit means he can edit the data for this object as well. Delete means he can delete the data for this object as well. But now what is view all and modify all? View all means I can see the data that I have not created. Say you are a user in my Salesforce environment. You have created a patient. Now I am a different user. You are a different user. If by default I will only be able to see my data, the data that I have created, not the data that you have created. But if I have view all permission for a particular object, I will be able to see the data that's being created by any user in my system. Like say you have created 5 records and Amit has created 6 records. I have created no records. In total, we have 11 records which have been created by you and Amit. If I have view all permission for a particular object in my profile, I will be able to see the data that you guys have created in addition to the data that I have created. Basically, view all means I am able to see others' data. Now comes modify all. Modify all means by default, I can only modify my data that I have created. But if I have modify all permission, I can modify others' data as well. Any issues till now? No, I'm good. We have covered tab settings. We have covered application settings, object setting. Now very important scenario, very important settings. We have session settings. We have password policies. Now I can control that. If a user with this profile, how long his session should be. Like he should be timed out after 15 minutes, after 30 minutes, after 1 hour. Everything is controlled by profile. Then I can control that what should be his password policy. That how long his password should take before expire. What's the password complexity for a particular user? Everything we control by profile. Tab Setting Application Object Password Policies. Then we have Session Settings. Let me cancel this. We have two very important settings as well that we'll see on the detailed page. Let me scroll down. We have something called login hours and login IP range. It's very important question from an interview point of perspective. Login IP means I can add some IPs here. And if user is trying to log in outside of those IPs, user will not be able to log in. For a safety perspective, I can add a range of IP. Say my office IP and someone is trying to log in outside of those IPs. If that IP is not listed in his profile, he will not be able to log in from those IPs. Then we have something called login hours. What is that? Login hours means I can add the range of hours in login hours. Say I have listed that from 10 am to 10 pm. Users with this profile should be able to log in. If someone is trying to log in at 10:05, he will not be able to log in because it is outside of his login hours. These all things we can control via profile. Like everything, what all things a particular user can do, everything is controlled in his profile. Any issue too now in profile? No, I'm good. Like today's topic is purely like a conceptual topic, not very much practical. We have to understand the important aspects or important settings in profile. We have covered tab settings, custom app settings, object settings, password policies, session settings, login IP, login hour. Then very important settings here, that is field level security. Yesterday we discussed that. I can control the visibility of a field as well using profile. There might be a possibility that 10 fields are there on a particular object, but when I'm trying to create a record, I am able to see only 5 fields. I'm not able to see remaining 5. Why? That is because I don't have permission to see them on my profile. How to control that? Yesterday we created an object that is patient detail. Click on View in front of Patient Detail. Click on View. Click on Edit. I can control the visibility of field using this checkbox, Rate Access, Edit Access. If I want that user should be able to edit the data in that particular field, I provide him Edit Access. Otherwise, I only provide him Read Access. That is how we control the visibility of fields as well, using profile. Any issues till now, Anitha? No, Sumit, I'm good. That was all about the important parts, important features of profile. Now let me give you a scenario and you have to tell me like how you would accomplish that. For a particular user, we assign a profile. I have a custom marketing profile and I have created two users, user 1, user 2. And to both users, I have given same profile, a custom marketing profile. marketing profile. Basically, both users have same profile. Now, in this profile, I have given read and create access for patient object. That means both these users can read and create patient record. They cannot edit. They cannot delete. Now there is a special requirement from user 2. User 2 needs added access. But the catch here is that user 1 does not need that. And I don't want to give user 1 that access. If I go and directly if I modify the profile, that will provide added access to user 1 as well. What's the solution here? You are good with the requirement, with the scenario, with the problem. Yes. How would you accomplish this? Is there any way to choose the particular user and edit the settings? To answer to that is we cannot do this by modifying profile. There is a separate feature for that. That is permission set. If there is a requirement where subset of users, like we have two users with same profile and one out of them is requesting some additional access, we do such requirements using permission set. In the permission set, there are 3 steps. First, we create permission set. Then we define required permissions for user that, in our case, they have demanded for added permission on patient detail object. And third step would be to assign permission set to desired user. I will be creating a permission set, then I will be defining required permissions in that. Then I will be assigning that to a particular user. Let's take an example of, let's try to accomplish this requirement and we'll understand about permission set. Very quickly, let me open a user and profile. This is a user that is user marketing user and this user has this profile, custom marketing profile. Let me click on this. Let me open his profile, custom marketing profile. Let me duplicate this tab and let me open his profile. And just verify what all permissions he has currently for patient detail. Click on Edit. Search for Custom Object Settings. We have Custom Object Setting, Custom Object Permission in front of patient detail. Let's give Read and Create. This user will only be able to read and create data, will not be able to edit. Let's save this profile. Now, as I am admin, I can mimic the view that this user will be able to see. The expectation is this user should only be able to read and create. This user should not be able to edit. Let's log in with this user. Click on Login. Just 1 minute. This user is not able to edit. He is not able to see the edit button. Only clone button is there. He is able to read. He is not able to edit. He can create a new record. New button is there. He can read the data, but this user is not able to edit. Let me open any existing record. This user is not able to edit. Now, let's accomplish this requirement with the help of the permission set. Now, with the help of the permission set, I'll provide this user edit access and then we'll again verify whether the permission set is working as expected or not. Now every user in the custom marketing profile will be able to read and create exactly. Let's search for permission set. The first step is to create a permission set. Let's give some meaningful name to this user. Edit access for patient detail. Let's give some meaningful name and click on Save. We are done with step number 1. We have created a permission set. Now second step was to define the required permission. How to define the required permission? Which permission we need to provide to the end user? That is object permissions. Click on Object Setting. Search for patient detail. Here we have patient detail. Click on that. Click Edit. And Edit permission. Click in front of Edit. We need to provide him edit access. We have selected Edit. Now click Save. We have created a permission set. Now we have defined the required permission. Now, what is the last step? Please go through this. Assign permission set to the desired user. How to assign that? Click on Manage Assignment. Click on Add Assignment. The user to whom I need to assign this permission set is marketing user. I have selected marketing user. Now click Next. Click on Assign. Now, with the help of permission set, I have provided him the added access. Earlier, he had only read and create. But let's verify whether the permission set is working as expected or not. Click on Login. Let's again log in as this user. Click on Login. Patient detail. Let's open any existing record. Edit button is there. Earlier this button was not there. That means That means with the help of profile, this user is only getting read and create access. But with the help of add permission set, this user is getting added access. In future, if I add a user to the same custom marketing profile, they'll not have edit access. They'll only have read and create. Profile will remain same. If you need to assign the same additional permission to any other user, you will assign that same permission set to the other user. If there is a requirement, say in future, say we have provided user 3 the same profile. Now user 3 also has read and create. Now he is asking for edit permission. What we will do? We will assign the same permission set to user 3. That is how we manage permissions using profile and permission set. That was the second topic for the day. Any issues till now, Anika? No, Sumit, I think I'm good. Last topic for the day. And like initially, we are going on a very slow pace and we are keeping sessions a bit light, that to get plenty of time to go through the recording, that you are not feeling like you are able to cope up with that pace. Initially, like the sessions would be like 40-45 in that much duration for sometimes. That's why we have kept it pretty, I would say soft and light. The last topic for the day is role. Before we understand the concept of role, let me click on new user and just want to clarify one thing. On this screen, you are able to see like profile is mandatory, user license is mandatory, role is mandatory. But in reality, I can create a user without providing role. This is a bit confusing screen from the primary look. You might think that role is mandatory, but the difference between profile and role is profile is mandatory for a user, role is not mandatory. That's the first difference. But what exactly is role? Role is the in each and every organization, someone, each and every user, each and every employee is performing some duties. Say someone is technical lead, someone is team lead, someone is associate manager, someone is manager. That's our role. Each and every role is like reporting to someone, and someone is reporting to that role. There is a concept of role hierarchy. We report to our team lead report to our manager. There is a particular role hierarchy. In Salesforce, how we define role and role hierarchy serves for role. Click on roles. Click on setup roles. Where is it? Click on expand all. How to understand the role hierarchy, and it's a by default. I have not done anything in your environment as well. You can see the same hierarchy. Just follow these dots. Western sales team and Eastern sales team are reporting to Director Direct Sales. Director Direct Sales and Director Channel Sales are reporting to VP North American Sales. That is how, as per our organization, we can define role hierarchy, we can change the names. Finally, VP and VP are reporting to SVP. SVP is reporting to CO, and all of these are reporting to CEO, and CEO is reporting to XYZ. But what is the impact of having a role? Say I am director direct sales, what advantage this provided me, say on my user. Someone has provided me director direct sales role. The advantage that it will offer me that I can see the data of all the users below me. The Eastern sales team, Western sales team, there are users with those roles. Whatever data they have created for patient for appointment for any other object, I will be able to see that data without any additional permission. Just because they are below me in role hierarchy, I will be able to see the entire data that they have created. Let's take an example. Say you are Eastern sales team. I am director direct sales and you have created 40 patients. I'll be able to see all those 40 patients without any issues. You will only be able to see or edit, modify changes. Coming on that point, by default, it only provided us read permission. On top of that, we have several other concepts. We will discuss them tomorrow, but by default role hierarchy only provide read access that someone who is below me in role hierarchy, I can view their records without any issues. Now comes the question that is this behavior applicable for all the objects? Let me list down the question. We have some standard objects which are already there in the system. That these are the objects that we have not created. They were already there and some object that we are creating that is custom object. Like yesterday, we created patient detail. That's the custom object. That's not a standard object. Now my question is this behavior applicable for all the objects? That if I am above someone in role hierarchy, I can see their entire data. That whatever objects, whatever record it may be of account, contact, patient detail they have created, I'll be able to see the entire data, or is there a setting from which I can control this behavior? What's your opinion? It's a question. It's applicable for all the objects. What do you think? I'm guessing for all the objects. For standard object, it is always applicable. For custom object, we can control if there is a requirement from client that for custom object as well, we need this behavior. That means, say, someone has created 50 records of a custom object and we need the same behavior to be applicable on this object. We don't need this behavior for a particular object. We can control that for custom object. We can control whether this behavior should applicable or not. But for standard object, but one quick question. In real life scenarios, who we are reporting to anybody above us? Aren't they always, supposed to be able to see whatever we do? Exactly, that is how in our organizations we define roles like someone who is above me. There is a, I would say, maximum probability that he is supposed to do whatever you are doing. That is how we provide them the responsibility that someone who is your team lead, he should be able to see on which case you are working, which task you are working. On the similar lines, Salesforce has provided this entire setup for that. We have a role hierarchy. Someone who is above me, he can see my entire data for a standard object. But for custom, I can control. For custom, we can control whether we need to give them that access or not. But how to control for custom object? That is the next question. When I'm saying we can control, then there might be a query in your mind that how we can control. From where to control? Search for sharing setting. Click on sharing settings. Click on edit. If you can see, here we have a checkbox for grant access using hierarchies. This is grey out for all the objects. Let me scroll down and just note the difference. Why it is not grey out for these 6 objects? The ones that are already grey are standard objects. The one which are already are the standard object. Say yesterday I created patient detail. I can uncheck this. Now, this behavior will not be applicable for patient detail. Say, you are creating 6 patient detail records and you are below me. But if this checkbox is unchecked, I will not be able to see your data even if I am above you in role hierarchy. If this checkbox is checked, I will be able to see your data as well, but for standard, I cannot control this behavior. That's the importance of this checkbox. Many times in interviews, they will ask you, what is grant access using hierarchies checkbox? You have to tell them this. Control the visibility for users which are above me in role hierarchy. Any issues? Still now Anita in profile and permission set in role. Any issues? No, I'm good. If you can summarize in your own terms about roles or this checkbook. I'm sorry. If you can summarize, if you can let me know what you have understood about roles in your own terms, that would be really helpful. I mean, role need not be mandatory when creating a user. Great. Whereas profile is mandatory and a role is basically to define the visibility of data. If somebody is in a role above me, they will be able to see the data I have created. Great. But then we can also limit their access using grant access. Hierarchy. Anyone above me will by default be able to, control all the standard objects. But then for custom objects that a user creates, they can control access for role hierarchy using that. The grant access in sharing settings. This behavior only admin can control. Say like there is a requirement from client. There is a requirement from client that in our system or in our project we need this behavior applicable for all the objects. What admin will do? Admin will enable it for all the custom objects as well. If there is a requirement from client that don't apply this behavior for custom object, admin will go and uncheck this. All the users above will not be able to see the data for custom objects for the users which are below him. This only the admin will be able to do. Admin will be able to. User itself cannot control. I have created 10 reports. I cannot control who will be able to see my data or not. that only admin can control. Sumit, one question. Creating the objects, creating the fields, creating a user, providing the settings. All of this only the admin will do. Except we have. But once you create a user, will they be able to go and create an object and a field or no? That all depends on the permission that admin will provide in their profile. If admin has provided them the required permission, they will be able to do that. Otherwise, they will not be able to do that. That all depends upon their profile. The admin will create the user's number of users. You know the objects, everything based on what the client requirement is. And after that, the users are the ones which are live users, which are using our application, which are using our implementation. But admin is someone who is implementing. Basically, admin controls the entire behavior. What all things I can do, what all things I can perform, and everything is controlled by admin. He will assign me the required permissions in my profile. Then only I can use those permissions. Let's say a user using the application, they want to create another object, or they want to create a field in an already existing object and they don't have permission for that. They will contact the admin to create all that exactly. They will reach out to admin that we need this permission. Admin will check with the required, I would say the management or someone who is looking after that project. That is this user supposed to do this thing. If there is a positive response, admin will provide him the required access. That is how we like this, the typical structure in all the organizations. We do our own organization. We ask for a particular permission. If we are supposed to have that permission, we will be getting that. Otherwise, they will reject our request. Same is applicable in the live projects. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.